people, this is your girl Blue Nola back in the building with another video. I hope all is well in your world. Thank you so much for coming through. I know it's super early, but listen, Brian McKnight took to his social media to address the haters, right? People that he actually said are harassing his family, accosting them, which means obviously they're being approached. And he's not having it, guys. He said he is not having the shenanigans, and he is speaking on his other children and his reason for why he's doing what he is doing. I want you to take a listen to this, take a look at this, and then let me know what you think about it. All right, I'll be back.
Brian McKnight here. There's been a lot of discussion online lately about how I talk about my family on social media. Typically, I prefer not to give attention to the internet trolls, but now my family is being harassed online and accosted in public, apparently because some people can't handle seeing my happily ever after. Coming after me is one thing, but the moment you come after my wife and our children, it's another story, because even more important to me than defending my name is defending and protecting them. I want to address some of these recent discussions. There is a very simple reason why I post about some of my children on social media and not others. The children that I do not currently have relationships with, I don't post about them. Instead, I post about the children with whom I do have relationships, with whom I am proud of, and about whom I want to share my pride in their accomplishments. I don't live in the past. I live in the present and the future. I am so proud of the man I am today, the husband I am to my wife Leilani, and the father I am to our children. I'm so proud of our love, our family, our life. So I will, without apology, continue to shout about it as loud as I can. If you can't help or handle seeing happiness and love, then I respectfully ask you, why are you even on my page? Maybe you should ask yourself that too. Another thing a lot of people have been talking about is the lawsuit my adult daughter Brianna brought against me a few years ago. There's been a lot of misinformation about the case and a lot of people who don't know what happened acting like they do. I think it is important to clear up some of that misinformation. In 2020, my biological daughter Brianna sued me for defamation and breach of contract. I posted a page from the lawsuit here and the file number down below so you can look this up for yourself. And you will see that she did not ask for an apology or even ask that I remove the alleged false statement from the internet. All she asked for and all she wanted was money. The case was dismissed before there was any decision whether my statement about her was defamatory. We settled the case earlier this year, and I agreed to pay Brianna some money, but here's the interesting part. She sued me for defamation and breach of $1 million life insurance policy, and I agreed to pay her $318,000 with no admission of any wrongdoing whatsoever. You heard that right. She dismissed a $1 million case in exchange for payment of $318,000 with no admission that I did anything wrong and no requirement that I retract my statement or remove it from the internet. If someone said that I did something I didn't do and I won a case proving that I didn't, I demand a public apology. I demand an acknowledgement of wrongdoing, and I demand a retraction of statements. The face value of that life insurance policy was $300,000 with $18,000 worth of interest. I did not defame her. I made no false statements. I made up no stories. You can do what you will with that information in deciding who you think won the case. I know that some people on the internet would rather not know the truth about what happened, but for those of you with an open mind who are more interested in facts than rumors, I hope this helps explain what really happened in that case. Finally, I want to address the abandonment issue for the last time. Those kids and I have had a long history of conflicts, mutual estrangements, and resolutions. But there was a time when we were truly a successfully blended family. Julia, Jack, BJ, Nico, and Brianna. Our home was filled with love and acceptance, so much so that the kids were all calling each other siblings, contrary to the picture that's been painted online. Christmases, birthdays, Thanksgivings, Friendsgivings, all spent together, even standing up for me as my best man in our wedding, along with their brother Jack, which I posted a pic of here. Shortly thereafter, the same conflict over money arose again. We parted ways, and the next thing I knew, there were 2 posts from Brian and Brianna in 2019 telling the world a completely different narrative for the reason why. I never abandoned anyone. Our estrangement was mutual, but those posts made any roads towards reconciliation and acknowledging them a dead issue. And I changed my will the next day. I've spent the last 30 plus years building a recognized, respectable name, and ironically, there are still people out there who are trying to smear my name while still carrying it, hoping to use it for their own benefit. I make absolutely no apologies for naming my infant son Brian. I want him and the world to know that he is the one who is my true legacy. So I'll be over here, continuing to love and protect my wife and our children as we continue to love our life.
All right, so I'm back in the building to talk about Brian McKnight. So, of course, this video, I don't know, do you feel like it helped clear things up? Do you feel like it made it even worse? Or do you just not care at all? Number one. Number two, what do you think about his energy, the way he presents himself? And number three, do you believe that he will be affected in his career as it relates to this? I mean, he said a couple of things that were interesting to me. He talked about how he felt that his child, and I'm assuming he's referring to his oldest child, whose name is also Brian McKnight Jr., wants to use his name, but also wants to tarnish his name at the same time. In the reading, we talked about his brand and his image. He also talked about he has no regrets about naming his youngest child Brian McKnight as well, right? Because this child will be his legacy, right? And we talked about this in the reading. Like, if those kids are not careful with Brian McKnight, they can be left out of the will. So I want you guys to make sure you're checking out the reading that I actually have. It's here on the channel for Brian McKnight that we did for Brian McKnight. Yes, it's 42 minutes long, but baby, it's 42 minutes or 46 minutes of tea, okay? Because I got all these questions from Instagram. And it covers his children, his ex-wife, the alleged abuse. It covers his new wife, her kids, how her kids truly feel about him as well. But yeah, and also the new baby. So make sure you check that reading out. But a lot of people had a lot to say about Brian McKnight on the Shade Room and other outlets. Somebody said on the Shade Room, and I'll just read a few comments. Do they ever cross your mind anytime? It's like people are so crazy, right? So another person said to Brian McKnight, I think you need to start back at 1. All right. Another person said they'll abandon their own, but will take care of another woman's children. That happens every day. If you humanize this experience, this happens. Doesn't make it right, but it happens every single day. Somebody else said the way he shrugs them shoulders while speaking about his children tells a lot. Yes, he had a lot of narcissistic energy, but he also has some sassiness going on there. Okay, period, point blank. Somebody else said here, him and Anita are showing their true colors at their big ages. Y'all know Anita Baker basically told Babyface, child, go sit down because I got to do my whole set. And I don't know what you're about to sing, but go ahead and, go on about your business. We may do a reading on Anita Baker because I hear a lot of stuff about her. But anyway, I digress. Somebody else says he's just making it worse. I saw several comments where people were saying the kids were telling the truth on him, right? His children were telling the truth about his energy, his attitude. Even in the video, he kind of said, like once he made up his mind about cutting the cord with them, he did it the next day, right? Once again, that's narcissistic energy. Not that they're innocent. We talked about that in a reading as well. Not that they're innocent, but his focus this time seemed to be the situation with his daughter, because he started to post a bunch of legal documents that had a lot to do with the case that they just were, embroiled in, regarding some comments that he had said about her being in a incestuous relationship with a cousin or somebody like that. So anyway, this is Chris. Thank you for listening. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Don't forget you can book your appointment at BlueNolaTarot.com. I'm running a very juicy sale, $65 for 5 questions. Again, BlueNolaTarot.com, and you can use your PayPal. You can use your credit card, check out as a guest. And now I have it set up to where you can do your Cash App and or your Zelle. Again, have a great day. Stay blessed, encourage, and empower. And I'll see y'all later with an official tarot reading for the channel. Peace and blessings, family. Bye-bye.